This year's playoffs has been full of amazing moments. We're talking buzzer beaters, close games, crazy dunks. I mean, everything that comes with the playoffs. But this game that we just watched between the Pacers and Celtics had practically none of it. Well, there was actually a very cool dunk from Derek White, but that's besides the point. Now, if you've seen me talk about the playoffs before, you know that I've had these Celtics basically making the NBA Finals this entire time. Now, that doesn't count my actual playoff prediction video where I had the Bucks making the NBA Finals, but that's only because I thought Giannis was going to be playing. Anyways, let me get back to the point here. I haven't even really been watching Celtics games because I knew they were going to find themselves at least in this situation. Maybe not the NBA Finals, but I knew that come the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics were going to be the team that was there, which I guess is somewhat controversial now to some people, seeing that the Celtics had the easiest path to the conference finals or maybe even to the NBA Finals. Like, there's no doubt it was easy, and I do wish it was a little bit harder, but that's just kind of what comes with being the first seed. But all of that stuff aside, we're only going to talk about this game that we just saw because, my God, the Celtics played terribly. Like, I am being so honest when I say there were so many moments where the Pacers could have come back and taken this game by storm. Like, the Pacers should have at least had a 10-point lead at some point in this game because the Celtics were playing so god-awful. Like, I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in the second quarter where the Pacers just weren't scoring at all, and the Celtics could only muster up like a 12-point lead. So when the Pacers eventually did start to do something, they were easily able to like tie the game or even bring the game closely, and that was when the Celtics decided to start playing real basketball again. And you know why they were able to keep this lead or even have a lead in the first place? It's all because of Jaylen Brown. Both offensively and defensively, Jaylen Brown has been the key to this entire playoff run for the Boston Celtics. I'm so tired of seeing the slander that this man gets just for being him and playing his game. We've seen all the memes about him not having a left, and granted, he still doesn't have a left, but he's also dropping 40 fucking points in the conference finals, and I'm not sure Jason Tatum has done that yet, at least in this series. Actually, I just looked it up. Jason Tatum has never had a 40-point game in a conference finals. That being said, I want to give Jaylen Brown his flowers because he wasn't only scoring in this game, but he was also defensively taking the hardest matchup on Pascal Siakam. Granted, Pascal Siakam did have a great game as well and was kind of the reason as to why the Pacers did have a couple looks in this game, but for Jaylen Brown to take that huge load all over him defensively and then also be able to handle the offensive end of the court, it's something that genuinely doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, I feel like if Jason Tatum was doing all this, we would not hear the end of it. It would not stop being, yo, Jason Tatum is the future of the league and all this stuff. Jaylen Brown is doing it, which, hey, I just want to say right now, if this was the NBA Finals, we're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations because Jaylen Brown might deserve Finals MVP. I actually want nothing more than to see that really happen. Like, in this game, Jason Tatum was basically a non-factor. I mean, the entire first half, he didn't really do anything at all. I mean, his scoring was down. He wasn't really hitting his shots. The third quarter, he was able to really get out there and play his game and make some moves. And then in the fourth quarter, he, of course, just did his usual stat padding. Because seriously, what does Tatum have to prove when he's playing against a lineup of Jalen Smith, Doug McDermott, Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd, and Andrew Nembhard? And yes, that was a real lineup the Pacers had out there, and Jason Tatum was just dunking on him. But that same Pacers lineup gives me other questions. What the actual fuck are the Pacers doing? I mean, seriously, they played this game with no heart, no effort. They were tired. It was so just disappointing to watch, especially if you're cheering for the Pacers. Maybe it's because they're in Boston and they just want to get home already, or it was because they were so close to taking game one and Jaylen Brown got the clutch three and they also just made a ton of terrible mistakes. Like, seriously, why are you not fouling while up three? And then they also had a ton of turnovers. They didn't take a timeout and push the ball forward. I mean, it was disgusting, which makes me think the Pacers mentally are already done with this game. And it also doesn't help that Tyrese Haliburton left the game early because he apparently re-aggravated his hamstring injury. And if you don't believe me when I say that they were playing tired and with no effort or no love for the game, just watch this defense on this play. I mean, seriously, what is happening on the court? And this happened multiple times, obviously not leaving them open that much, but there were so many moments where like they wouldn't switch on screens or they just wouldn't communicate to each other about what they're doing on the defensive end. And that's the side that they're going to lose this series on because the Pacers already have the #1 offense in like NBA history or something like that. They had the #1 offense at least in this regular season. I'm pretty sure the Celtics were following them up at #2. But defensively, the Pacers have been absolutely butt ass, and we're seeing that in this series, and the Celtics are also playing their defense, which is a lot better. Siakam was able to pick it up later on in this game. Obviously, it's not going to be enough when you're the only guy out there, you're the only star on your team out there doing anything, but I guess congrats to him for picking it up later on in the game because he didn't start great by any means. Miles Turner was an absolute nothing burger. I mean, this dude couldn't do anything for shit. No offensive rebounds, couldn't score, was basically just a cone. So with the Celtics taking game 2, what's next for both these teams? Well, the Celtics are just going to make the NBA Finals. I think they're going to take both games in Indiana, especially if Tyrese's hamstring is actually as bad as they made it seem with the way he walked back to the tunnel. This is easily going to be a finals appearance for them, and I mean, I guess congrats to the Celtics. It really kind of sucks that the championship that they might win comes down to probably the easiest run that we've ever seen, but that's just just how the playoffs work out. You can't really complain when that's just how things fall. Because for the Indiana Pacers, if they were to make the NBA Finals, they would also receive these same comments talking about their easy run. Seriously, just look at how they got to where they are right now. An injured Bucks team that barely played Dame and didn't play Giannis. They also played the Knicks team with a bunch of injuries as well. So if they were to make the NBA Finals, they would receive these same comments about how the only tough matchup they had was the Boston Celtics. Which also makes me think, I don't know if we're going to see the Pacers back in a situation like this for quite some time. I do believe that Tyrese Haliburton is a generational player and will find himself in another situation like this where he's in the conference finals or maybe even the NBA Finals at some point. I just don't think that this roster is the roster to get it done. No doubt Siakam has been so huge for this team, and I hope he re-signs. I'm pretty sure there was something about how he said he wasn't going to re-sign to any team that traded for him, but I think he likes Indiana, and they made a damn conference finals appearance. So I do hope that they get to keep Pascal Siakam. He has been absolutely huge and crucial for the team, but it's the players around him that I just want to see be a little bit more built. Maybe get a third star in there. I don't know if Miles Turner is going to be your guy throughout the rest of your, contention window. So maybe you go a little bit aggressive and try to get another guy out there, another scorer. I don't know exactly. Pacers fans, comment down below what you think will help your team be better in the future. Is it just the injuries? Is Tyrese Haliburton's hamstring the problem? I don't think so. That being said, hope you guys all enjoyed. Like I said before, comment down below your opinions on the playoffs or this series in general. I read and respond to everyone, and that's really the most fun part about making these videos, is having conversations with you guys. Also, YouTube themselves seems to think that this video up on the screen right now would be good for you to watch, so go ahead and click on it because they can't be wrong. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.